My girlfriend told me she was pregnant, so I had arranged to move all her stuff out behind her back. That's the title. Do we wait for that?
All right.
We were dating for 1.5 years when she moved in with me. I'm now 25. Weeks ago, I got home from work and my girlfriend was standing in the living room, smiling. She showed me the pregnancy test. She showed me the positive pregnancy test. Thinking it was a TikTok prank, I played along.
Yeah.
When she didn't reveal it was a prank, I knew what had happened, but I continued to play along. That night, I got up at midnight and started sending emails. I took a week off work and emailed my best friend the details, telling them to pretend they knew nothing and be prepared. The next morning, I left for work as usual, but I didn't go to work. Carl, one of my best friends, was waiting outside. He had a cap and a hoodie ready for me. The whole week, we followed Katie, and on day 3, she met up with her affair partner. We followed them to a motel, and then Carl followed him to his house. The guy was married with kids. We devised a plan. I convinced Katie to go to her parents' house to tell them the good news last Saturday. While there, I gave my friends the keys to my home. At Katie's parents' house, we had lunch with her parents and her siblings first, and then Katie told them the good news. Everyone was happy. After a while, I got a call I had to take. It was my friends telling me they were done and ready. So I asked to make an announcement. I pulled Katie aside in front of everyone. I bet they thought I was going to propose. I started by telling everyone how we met, how much she meant to me, and ended with, and that's why it hurt so much that you cheated on me and got pregnant by someone else.
There?
In front of the family, everyone.
I would give nothing more to be a second cousin. A second cousin in that room, because I've got no stake in this game. Wow, this is gisty.
Yeah, gisty, bro.
What?
Oh, yeah, it's tea, bro. It's a serious tea. The room went silent. Katie looked shocked. She started telling me it wasn't a funny joke. I said I'm not joking. The moment you told me you were pregnant, I knew you cheated.
So has he got snip ting?
I got a vasectomy 5 years ago.
Damn.
And I go to checkups every year. So if you're pregnant, you've cheated. At that moment, her phone rang. I told her to answer it. It was probably blank. Obviously the guy's name blank. You know, the real father of your baby. Probably wants to talk to you about moving in. Not sure if his wife and kids are gonna like that though. What happened was that my friends had loaded up everything of Katie's into a U-Haul and brought it to they're calling him AP. Brought it to AP's home. When they called me, they were in front of his house for the final part. They rang the doorbell and asked AP where they could put her things. He was confused, and they handed him and his wife a folder of pictures of him and Katie.
What is this?
And Carl said, since OP, the original guy, since OP is kicking her out, she needs someplace to stay. We're just here delivering her things. And since you don't want the woman who is pregnant with your child on the street, we assumed you wanted to take her in. AP called Katie yelling that she's ruined her life and never wants to see her again.
Damn.
After hearing the scream over the phone, I said, oh, so his wife doesn't want his mistress and their fair baby living there? So you have to stay here with your parents. With that, I walked away, leaving a crying Katie and her confused and angry family behind. My friends brought the U-Haul with her stuff to her parents after AP refused to accept it. I went home where my sister was waiting for me. She knew everything. That was not part of the plan, but Carl knows me well. I broke down and cried in my sister's arms. She stayed the weekend, taking care of me, allowing me to grieve and process the betrayal. It's been a week since I dumped Katie at her parents' house. My boys cleaned out my home and brought everything of Katie's to hers. But because I didn't have the time to mark everything that was Katie's, the boys didn't take everything that belonged to her. And they even took some of my things. I called her sister to arrange a meeting to exchange our belongings. The sister agreed under one condition. I sit down with Katie to hear her out. I would have just left everything there, but the tablet had some pretty important work stuff, so I agreed to hear Katie out. But I made it very, very clear that there was no chance of us getting back together. Katie was a shadow of her former self. She started with a small talk, but I quickly told her I wasn't there for that. She wanted to apologize. Here is where I lost it the most. I wanted to yell at her for destroying our relationship. I wanted to yell that I can't accept a simple apology for destroying my trust. But I didn't yell. I was quiet. I didn't accept the apology. I also didn't reject the apology. I said nothing. She asked why I never asked why she did it. I said there was nothing she could say to justify what she did.
Facts.
So it didn't matter which excuse she came up with. She said she really thought the child was mine because you weren't using protection in brackets, vasectomy with yearly checkups. And she was hoping that I would change my mind about being child-free as soon as she got pregnant. That's wild.
I
told her that was a very dumb assumption, and she clearly didn't use protection with her affair partner too. She told me she thought it was unfair of me to expose the affair to her family.
What are we chatting about?
I didn't have to do that. My response was, that's right. I didn't have to. I chose to. Just like you chose to cheat on me. Just like AP chose to cheat on his wife. There are just consequences of these actions.
Yeah.
She asked me if we still had a chance if she aborted the baby. I told her keeping or aborting the baby wouldn't change the betrayal. She can do what she wants, and we're not getting back together. I was done. I heard her out. She didn't tell me anything I didn't already know. So I got up, took my stuff, and was about to leave. She said, I love you. My response was, no, you don't. If you loved me, you would never have betrayed me or hurt me like you did. I loved you, but you destroyed that too. With that, I left and could hear her sobbing. I've also learned that the affair partner is kicked out of his house too. They are divorcing. He ended it with Katie because he blames her for ruining his life. I don't know what Katie is going to do with the baby, but that's not my problem. I've known I wanted to be child-free since my early teens. My parents didn't oppose me, but they did say I could change my mind. Since I'm not an only child, they'll still get grandchildren. When I was 20, I got a vasectomy. When I was 22, I met my girlfriend, and I've been open about wanting to be child-free from the very beginning. I remember telling her about my vasectomy, but to be honest, I think there was alcohol involved, so I'm not really sure if she remembers. End of story.